All right, guys, this is long overdue, but it's finally here. You want to say something?
Damn straight.
All right, just start with the first question.
If half the world's 4 billion men suffer from baldness, that means 2 billion between the ages of 17 and 50 suffer from baldness. And let's say that half or a third of the number cares about their hair. And let's say 8 million are in a stage between baldness and having hair. That means we need 3. For example, how many of these 8 million do you expect to start taking medication? In short, how many users of finasteride?
What the fuck did he just ask me? All right, read it, but where he says in short, we'll ignore everything else.
Okay.
Where it says in short, just read that again.
In short, how many users of finasteride or minoxidil do you expect, and what percentage of those succeed and continue?
Okay, I think this guy's trying to ask me, what is the success rate of finasteride and minoxidil? But he's asking it in a way as though he's somebody who's never had a social interaction in his life. So to answer the question, 90% and above. Okay, so if minoxidil, the response rate is not great. It's somewhere around 60, maybe 70, maybe 80 if you have tretinoin in the mix. It's not great. Finasteride, it's very good. You know, for over 90% of users, that's gonna halt your hair loss and even reverse it. And that's for indefinitely. That's gonna last you pretty much forever. So yeah, I don't know why he worded it like that, but whatever.
How can you tell the difference between a shed and the meds not working? On month 8 of Fin and Min, and only had crowns slightly thinning when started. Now suddenly the right side of my hairline is super thin while the left side is fine. There are some shorter hairs and vellus hairs I can see, but not sure if it's regrowth or just the hairs miniaturizing and dying. The right side of my hairline just looks terrible.
So how to tell whether it's shed or more miniaturization? You really can't tell. There's really no way to say for sure, but all you have to do is make peace with the fact that what you're doing the best you can, right? You're already doing much better than if you didn't take the medication. Because if you didn't, you would know this is miniaturization. With medication, the odds are very much in your favor that this is just a shed. If you're really concerned, then I would just upgrade to dutasteride. Join us, join the master race, upgrade to dutasteride, and that pretty much can guarantee you that you'll be okay.
What do you recommend for hair thinning?
Okay, so this guy doesn't watch my channel, okay.
I was on 1 milligram Fin/topical Min for 8 months, and besides shedding, have not seen any improvement. Is oral Min better? So what do you recommend as far as a dosage?
As far as dosage, you're doing the right thing already. I think you're just not giving it enough time. Patience is important, and if you're concerned, again, like I said last time, just upgrade to dutasteride. With oral minoxidil, I don't feel comfortable recommending that due to, though the side effects are rare, they can be quite severe. So you do that that's up to you. I'm not gonna stop you, but I'm also not gonna encourage that.
The next question, I'm sorry.
What's the next one?
Can I be in the Q&A?
No.
Where the hell have you been? Are we finally going to get regular uploads?
I'll try my best. I've been very busy. I've been balancing a lot of different stuff outside of hair loss. So yeah, I've just been basically just life. So hopefully I can have regular uploading, but we'll see.
So the slaphead, it's the same guy. Also, the slaphead lesbian nonce still stalking you.
Is he still stalking me? I don't think he's still stalking me, but he hasn't forgotten about me. He's still talking about me on Reddit. Still brings up my name when he's getting into arguments with people about post-finasteride syndrome. So I wouldn't say he's stalking me, but he definitely hasn't forgotten me.
Focus on side effects, mild sides, types of sides, and severe, and what people did to minimize or reverse them.
Okay, I made a video about this, one of the first videos I've ever made, I think. But long story short, side effects include the typical, lower sex drive, to complete erectile dysfunction. It's reversible anyway, and usually it goes away on its own even with continued usage. But if it doesn't, you can always lower your dose or lower how often you take the medication. And worst case scenario, if nothing like that works, just stop taking it altogether and you'll be okay. If you want, you can try taking topical finasteride. Even though that does absorb systemically, some people do report that the side effects are not as bad or not there at all versus with oral. Though I do recommend oral finasteride overall. It's more convenient, it's safe. Most people are not going to have any issues. Another thing you can try is taking a small dose of Cialis every day. For those who don't know, that's a drug basically meant to get you in the mood when you're having sex. It's like Viagra, but I think it's actually quite better than Viagra. Viagra, you need some time to let it work and you take it only when you need it. With Cialis, that's kind of a gift that keeps on giving. When you take a small dose regularly, you just in general have a higher sex drive. I'm not speaking from experience, by the way, just to make that clear. When I say small dose, I'd say something like 2.5 milligrams daily, along with your finasteride. That should combat any sexual side effects if you do get them. On the more severe side of things, there's gynecomastia or bitch tits. That happens to around 0.4% of users. And I would say that's the only side effect that I was worried about when I started taking this treatment. Nothing like that happened, and the chances are nothing like that will happen to you. If that does happen, if you stop the treatment before it develops at a certain point, then it should go away on its own, same thing. If it doesn't, or if you let it develop all the way, then you need to get surgery to get them removed. And you can ask the surgeons to also take out the glands that produce gyno. That way it will heavily reduce the risk of it coming back.
With medication like Fin, do you think it's possible to keep hair beyond 50?
Yeah. Majority of people will have their hair beyond 50 if they take this medication, yes.
Do you think anything grows back hairline fully?
Yes. It's not too often. It really depends how good of a responder you are. You have people who don't regrow anything, they just maintain the hair they have now and they don't have any more hair loss. You have men who may grow a little bit of peach fuzz, which, doesn't look great, but at least it means you're not getting any worse. Then you have hyper responders who regrow everything, completely reversing their hair loss. So yes, it's possible, but I wouldn't count on it. The best thing you can do is take the treatment before you need any transplants, before you lose any hair. Just take the treatment while you still have the good hair now. That way you can save yourself the time and money of trying to get surgery to repair any damage done.
Is it really necessary to use medication after transplantation?
Yes. If you don't, then what's going to happen is the hair surrounding the transplanted area, that's going to fall out, continue thinning, because this is a progressive condition, right? DHT is always going to be trying to destroy your hair. So let's say if I had my hairline done, and then the hair behind that keeps receding because I'm not taking treatment. What's going to happen is in the long term, I'm just going to be left with this island at the top here, and it's not going to look very pleasant. So,
He also added a bit, he said, because I want this so that I don't have to use drugs, which doctors, if any, perform procedures that do not require medication.
Yeah, if you don't want to use drugs, then I would just shave your head.
I took finasteride while conceiving my firstborn. He was born healthy, but is half black. My wife and I are both white. Why did finasteride do this? Now that I think about it, my son kind of looks like one of my friends. He's black. I'm sure this is unrelated, but I thought I would throw it in.
Who's gonna tell him? I think maybe
the viewers.
Maybe your issue is more related to you not taking finasteride soon enough. That's all I'm gonna say. Next question.
Do you use any medicated shampoos?
Not at the moment. Right now I just use generic shampoo, generic conditioner. But there was a time where I had really bad acne on the back of my head. And during that period I used the T-Gel shampoo, which I don't use now.
Okay, I know this question has been asked a lot of times, but I still can't convince my mind enough. Do you think if you are on do/fin, lifting weights can increase the speed of your hair loss by increasing testosterone enough? It's a difficult question to answer since there have been no studies on this, especially on AR blockers.
No, you'll be fine because your testosterone's increasing, but you're also blocking the conversion of testosterone into DHT. So your testosterone is going to be preserved. So yeah, you can work out all you want. I would say if you're not on a 5-AR blocker, maybe it will speed up the rate of hair loss, but if you're on treatment, you should be okay.
How do you find pants that fit with that Monster Energy can-sized horse cock? My daughter has thinning hair, but would you be interested to meet her and potentially discuss marriage? She is 22 and is a good cleaner with a bold smile. And with your support, I'm sure you can. Hope to speak soon.
Sure, yeah. Guys, give me all your balding women, all right? I've got enough dutasteride to share to everybody, so yes, I'm in, yes.
Oh my days. I used to rub lemon and chocolate powder on...
All right, guys, I'm gonna leave the coffee aside while you finish that question, please.
Yeah, good idea. I used to rub lemon and chocolate powder on my head to grow back my hair in a natural way, but all it did was make me look like a fucking idiot, and now I have a problem with my eye and a chronic porn addiction.
Because chocolate powder is natural, isn't it? You fucking post-chocolate powder syndrome. I'm so sorry.
Hey, Very Villain. Is the drug still as effective as before? And have you noticed any side effects?
No side effects. The drug, I had some regrowth when I first started Finasteride. Same thing when I first started dutasteride. But I think as of the last 6 months or so, no, there hasn't been any new regrowth, but the hair loss has stabilized, which is the most important thing. So yeah, I'm not losing any further hair, and the drug is working as it's intended to.
Can't think of anything good to ask. What do you eat in a week?
I eat 2 fried egg with bread. 3 of you got that. Next question. Okay, no, let me answer it. So my diet right now is very much meat-based, so it's high protein and low carb. All kinds of meat pretty much throughout the week. The carbs, I try to keep them to an absolute minimum, so I have maybe a small bowl of rice once in a while. And that's really it for me. Vegetables and fruits, pretty much non-existent in my diet. And that's not intentional, I just don't like the taste. And then I have a very bad caffeine addiction, so.
Hair cafe.
Oh yeah, of course he did.
Yo, your skin looks great too. Do you have any particular skincare products you recommend, like sunscreen, moisturizers, and retinoids? Great to see the return of the dutasteride lord.
So I start my day off, I wash my face with any general cleanser. I don't focus too much on the brand. I'd say maybe my favorite would be the CeraVe. Then I haven't done it in a while, but I usually apply azelaic acid, 10%. And then after that, some tretinoin, which the last time I did it, it was at a 0.1% concentration, which I think for me was a little bit too high. So when I get back on it, I might introduce it at a smaller concentration. And then most importantly, before I go out, or even if I stay inside, I always apply a 50 SPF sunscreen. It used to be 100, but that was a bit too pasty for me. It was too thick. So now I'm down to 50. And that's probably the most important part of my routine. Then when I go to sleep, and that's on your advice, Kevin, to help with my dark circles, I sleep with an ice mask every night.